Hi everyone. Okay, today we're going to talk about value and shading. So with value and shading is when you have a darker area and a lighter area in a picture. So first things first is we're going to practice how to do that. So first, I want you to draw a nice long rectangle. I am not too concerned with how well your rectangle looks. Like you can see there's a curve there. That's okay. Then what you're going to do is you're going to break it up into sections. So far I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. So draw 4 lines in your area and you're going to label them 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now with shading, we want to go from lighter to darker. So this box right here, we're going to start actually in the center with number 3. What you're going to do is you're going to take your pencil. If you have a real pencil, so not a mechanical pencil, that's going to be your best drawing material for today. But if you only have a mechanical pencil, that is okay as well. So we're actually going to start with number 3 because this is our middle area. And what I'm going to do is notice how I'm switching my pencil from being normal to being on its side. And I am going to begin shading in that box on the side. Right here I'm using normal pressure. I'm not pushing too hard. I'm not pushing too light. I would consider this to be normal pressure. Notice how I'm drawing on the same direction. I'm not changing my direction. Even in these hard areas where I can't quite get that area, I'm still going to go very carefully side to side. Let's go over here. Notice how I'm shading nicely inside the lines. And there we go. There's our first box. Now we're going to start going either direction. This area is going to be darker and this area is going to be lighter. I think it might be easier to start with the darkers. So I'm going to move to my number 4 box and I'm going to push down just ever so slightly harder. Notice how I'm keeping consistent pressure. I'm coloring side to side, just like that. There we go. When I get to areas like this where I feel like I just can't color side to side to fill that in, I can go up and down, but try to keep those areas minimal. You want to really do all the same direction as much as possible. Let's continue over here, side to side, medium, a little bit harder, the medium pressure, and color that in. And there we go. You can see that this one is a little bit lighter than that one. And next thing is we're going to go a little bit darker. This one's pretty much the dark of the dark. I'm pushing down with a lot of pressure here. You can kind of see that in the pressure of my finger. You can see that I'm pushing down pretty hard. Ooh, I went outside the line. I am going to fix that because I want you guys to color inside the line here. There we go. You want to have nice, consistent pressure. That's the most important thing about shading, is that you want to be consistent. I feel like mine's not dark enough. I feel like it looked too much like 4. So I'm going to go back with the second layer and make it even darker. There we go. There we go. Nice, consistent pressure. Only going up and down if I absolutely need to. And there we go. Gets a little darker every time. Now we need to go lighter than number 3. So pushing down a little bit lighter. I'm barely touching the paper, trying to get that lighter tone. There we go. All right. And then let's go even lighter than that. So I'm almost like gonna like barely touch this paper now. There we go. Okay, so after you're done, you want to really evaluate what your 5 boxes look like. Do any boxes look too similar? For me, when I look at this, I kind of think that 2 and 3 look too similar. I think that they have the same pressure, and I think I need to go even lighter with number 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a quick erase. I'm not even going to bother with erasing the whole thing. I'm actually pushing down very lightly with my eraser, and I'm going to erase number 1 as well, because I probably have to go lighter there as well. So let's try this again. I'm going to go lighter here. Oh yeah, this is already looking better. You really want to have a consistent, think of it as like almost like an ombre. You want to have the ombre going nicely from lightest to darkest. That looks a lot better. And now let's do back number 1. And there we go. Okay, so after you practice your value scale, I want you to actually put your knowledge to the test, and I would like you to go and try to draw some shapes and color them in using all 5 values on the value scale. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start off really simple, is I want you to draw a triangle. Don't worry if your triangle's not perfect. I don't care about that, but I do care about your value and shading. So you can start this either way. You can either start from going from lightest to darkest, or you can go darkest to lightest. I think I'm going to start the darkest. That's just personally what I like doing. So you're going to pick a corner and you're going to start dark and get light. So I'm going to start over here, pushing down nice and hard. You can see I'm working harder, and then I'm working right around here. I'm going to start transitioning into number 4. Notice how I'm not working and trying to get a straight line of sections. You want it to all blend together. That's the whole point of shading, is that your shading should blend and should not have that boxy look. Right around here, I'm starting to get to 3/2. There we go. And then down here, I'm going to get really, really light. Sorry, I have to turn my notebook a little bit. It's just the way I draw. I tend to move my paper as I go. Just like that. Okay, so now as I evaluate, it looks like I'm still missing number 1. So here's the thing. It's okay to use your eraser. Sometimes we make mistakes in art, and you can't be afraid of that eraser. Okay, so I'm going to go back, and I'm actually going to erase just ever so lightly. Notice how I'm erasing in the same direction that I was coloring in. I'm going to try one more time, because sometimes even the art teacher makes mistakes. And it just takes practice as we go along. Oh, this is looking so much better. Look at that. Nice and light. And right now I'm going outside the line, which is okay, because I know that I'm going to go back and fix that. I'm going to go back and erase that and fix up my line. And look at that. We have a nice value scale from darkest to lightest in that triangle. All right, let's try something else. Now I want you to go and draw a box. And then I want you to draw, oopsies, what was I doing there? And then draw another box inside. And like I said, it's okay if your shapes aren't perfect. You can see that looks totally lopsided. I'm not going to worry about it. Now we're going to do some value and shading, but with some opposites. So here, let's start down here. I'm going to make it nice and dark, just like we did over here in the triangle. The one thing I want you to notice is that I'm keeping consistent with the direction I'm moving my pencil. I'm not just scribbling in random areas. I'm staying consistent. I'm working on layering my pencil. Notice how I'm going back. I'm smoothing out that transition, making it nice and light. There we go, nice and light. Go a little bit that way because it looks like I'm having trouble coloring in that one direction. Okay. Like I said, never be afraid of your eraser, because sometimes we just need that eraser out. I tend to always need to erase to do my lighter section. I don't know why. It's just something with me. There's nothing wrong with that, though. Art is done at all of our own paces, right? Notice how I'm taking my time and not rushing through. And there we go. The inside box is now lightest to darkest. Now I want you to do the opposite. On this outside box, I want you to do darkest to lightest. So I'm going to make this whole area dark. Just like that. This box might take me a second longer, but you're just going to be doing darkest to lightest in the opposite direction. Notice how I'm only coloring in a different direction if I need to get those little end areas. And even then I'm going back and blending it in so it makes more sense. Coloring nice and light so it blends together. There we go. All right, let's make it darkest to lightest. So I'm going to make it a little bit darker. There we go. Then I'm going to transition and get a little bit lighter as we go down. Taking turns with both sides so that way I can guarantee it's going to be even. Let's get nice and light down here. I'm not going to worry about going outside the lines because I'll erase it in a second. Sometimes it's just easier if we know we can erase it. Transition that so there's not any harsh lines. Let's erase the mistakes. And there we go. That is your lesson for today. I want you to practice on value and shading, going from lightest to darkest in different shapes and different boxes. I would also like you to do any shape that you want, practicing one more value. So you're going to be adding in any random shape. Maybe I'll do this blob. I would like you to add in a random shape and practice your value in there as well. That is your assignment for today. Good luck.